Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to a great broadcast brought to you here right on trovo.live/Destiny Star League. It's the Division 1 playoffs here for this season of the Destiny Star League. My name is Reshi. I'm so glad to be able to join all of you to cast these wonderful games this morning. It's a bit of an early one for me, but you know, it's going to be a good day of a good StarCraft action. So very, very excited to be joining all of you here as we get set and ready to go. It's been a good season for the Destiny Star League, and of course it has boiled itself down to the final 4 players here in this season. Of course, we're taking a look at a decent amount of Zerg players. 2 Zerg, 1 Protoss, and 1 Terran player. Of course, we're going to be seeing our first matchup here between River and Firebird. A Zerg versus Terran. Should be some good games. Sorry, I have a lozenge going right now, and it is a bit complicated. So I've got like the little bump there on the side because that's the best place I can put it for talking. You guys don't care about that. But anyways, our playoffs here. Give you a little bit of idea on format. 2 best of 5s here in the semifinals. Our grand finals will be a best of 7. Looking forward to casting these wonderful games. We are going to be starting with the Zerg versus Terran, of course. Our second series will be a ZVP, Newton versus Cobblestone. So should be some outstanding games to be covered. I am casting these from replay, so the chat is live, the video is live. There's no delay right now, so if you want to interact, feel free to. I have it right over here on the right hand side. I'm looking towards a lot of nothing. I guess I am seeing the beautiful Destiny Star League logo. I'm gonna make sure that this is in a good place. Oh yeah, I'm glad we double checked. There we go. All right. We're going to go ahead and load up our first match of the day. It's going to be River versus Firebird. Our ZVT. We'll have to see what some of the best 18 and under talent StarCraft 2 has to bring to the table. But of course, we are going to jump right on in and get started here. Folks, spawning in the bottom right of Romanticide. It's our orange Terran player. Played for Platinum Hero. This is Firebird. And spawning in the top left is our blue Zerg player. Does not appear to have a team. This is River. Also, I'm just peeking, like, very briefly at the live feed. Is this am I jumpy, or is it just like my screen? I'm very, very emotionally invested in figuring this out because OBS is telling me I'm dropping no frames. I'm at 6K. It's just like, mwah. But I am definitely jumpy on my screen. So if somebody can give me some feedback on that, I would appreciate that. Because of course I like trying to give as clean of a feed and as cast as possible, especially for you, the fans of StarCraft 2. Now, it's very clear these two know each other because they're just having a nice little banter back and forth. I'm going to guess that since nobody's brought it up in the chat, that things look just fine to all of you. But it does bother me, like, sincerely that this is not Well, it brings me in at 4 ADP. The best we can do is 720. All right, Captain, that's the best we got. Trovo. Oh, I desire the chat. What has happened? Oh, there we go. We've done it. Okay. So this is a pretty normalish game going on here. River going to open up with a nice amount of macro, getting his third base on time. I mean, ZVT is kind of in a nice position right now. It feels as if it is maybe the most balanced matchup StarCraft 2 right now. Dare I say the word balance in a cast of StarCraft, but things are in a really nice spot. It feels as if there are a lot of options for both players. Both players have the ability to go in what direction they want. This is going to be a very, very fast stim timing here. So with the fact that Nubitized Carapace has been researched, River more than likely is going to be able to spot this out. It looks like he's actually going to do a double scout, actually baiting with the first Overlord, and he's going to be able to see all of this. So grabs the fact that there is a very fast stim pack coming down. So this is going to be a very quick 16 Marine timing moving across the map. But I'll be honest, I really enjoy River's vision here for game number 1, having a lot of different avenues for scouting. Reaper is going to be able to swing up and in, but it's not going to find anything of major consequence here. River's playing this very, very safe here. He does have a nice amount of queens. Reaper's not going to be long for the world. Does have a nice amount of queens. What are we sitting at so far? 4 queens. Using that to start pushing his creep out. And against an opening like that 16 Marine timing, he should actually be in an okay position. So automatically jumping out to the +1 Carapace as well, which does create a nice bit of a buffer for him. Now, I don't believe that this upgrade's going to be done in time for this attack. But it is going to set him up for some future success here, as it does look like he wants to go into a bit of Ling Bane, at least to get started on the beginning of this game. Metabolic boost is now complete, so the opening tech is done. It looks like it's actually going to be, yeah, right at 16 Marines. I was like, there's no way he's going to cut this short, right? There's a fair amount of queens, good Ling coverage. Yeah, Nubitized Carapace +1 is not going to be researched in time for this drop, but honestly, some good creep spread should be able to scout this for the most part. And actually, this really puts Firebird in an awkward position because he's not going to be able to leapfrog these. He's not going to be able to leapfrog these very well. Good scout here by River moving forward. Good amount of Lings are going to get a full surround on these units. Actually picking up 8 of those Marines right off the top. It's a lot of great damage done here this morning. All right, that third base is underway. Now +1 melee being researched as well. Getting up into that lair tech as Firebird's working out his third base location. The Lings are going to keep pretty decent pressure on Firebird, not going to allow these medevacs to get stable and comfortable here on the map. I mean, this is becoming just a nice little back and forth between these two players. River in a nice spot that he has shut down that opening aggression and allowed himself to get a fair amount of creep here. I mean, creep already up towards the potential 4th bases at both locations. And now this second push across the map with tanks added into the mix is not going to be nearly as strong, just simply for the fact that there's not as many Marines. The opening attack didn't get enough done, and then the rest of this is starting to pull apart just a little bit. Now the tank spread will be pretty decent. The collapsible rocks will offer a nice bit of protection. So that's going to force a cancel on the 4th. A little Ling run by here. Creep spread's still rather strong, so Firebird's going to have to build or burn another scan rather if he wants to advance forward on this position. Otherwise, the Ling and Bane count's just going to be too strong. So instead, Firebird's just going to move on back. Ooh, I was going to say, I really would love for River to recognize that these tanks have been caught out, and he absolutely will. One of those tanks is going to fall. However, the 2nd and 3rd tank will be able to pick off some of those Banelings, which is going to empower Firebird here. Now, +1 melee is done at the same time as infantry weapons, but a nice little run by and Baneling counter here, getting into the 3rd base, taking off 7 workers right off of the top. River's already rotating up to the top side to grab his 4th base and trying to keep things moving forward. Meanwhile, it's a Ling flood back at home. All right, now Baneling speed has been allowed to finish. Centrifugal hooks. 2-2 on the way. +2 Carapace almost done. I actually do like the stutter on the Carapace upgrade, since it's going to be super effective against the fast-firing units in the Marine. That's going to be another canceled 4th base here. And unfortunately not canceled. It's just going to be killed. Jumping up to Hive already as well. Very, very clean so far. So this is kind of a scary moment here for River. He needs to be able to get some damage done. The wall's going to remain open, and this is going to be the kind of damage that he was looking for. So I think he needs to stay with the bulk of his army here out front to draw that attention, to buy as much time to kill these SCVs as humanly possible. Getting off 9 workers here. Baneling's going to come rolling on into the 3rd base location. Will they be able to find some damage? Yes, they absolutely will. 20 SCVs going down. More Lings flooding in from the backside. These Marines should be able to hold this off, but the economic damage has been dealt. We take a look at the units lost tab. 31 workers have gone down to the 0 of River. River has done such a nice job of holding off any economic damage coming his way. 2-1 on the way. Just a +1 on the infantry armor. It's a bit behind. Vehicle and ship armor +1 also being researched as well, but it's just going to continue to be more and more Lings and Banes. He's getting up to an Ultra Cavern as well, so staying with the ground melee army. This is like when I went into my cabinet this morning and I pulled out Captain Crunch. Oops, all melee. Queens don't count. Queens not included. All right, so adrenal glands are being researched here. Firebird's going to be caught out across the map. This is going to be enough Lings to shut down this chunk of army here. And the 3rd base is going to be exposed once again. There's no tanks. Where are the tanks on the high ground? Like, even just 1 tank would be enough just to shut that down. But instead, it's going to be an orbital command that gets picked off. That's a huge loss here for Firebird. River's now going to be able to play so much safer. He doesn't need to engage off a creep. Does not need to over-engage at this point. And these Lings are going to pick off another mine. Oh my gosh, this is pandemonium back at home. Yeah, Firebird's going to have to bring everything all the way back if he wants to hang on in this game. And the worker count in the 3rd. Oh, these workers just need to be just a hook boom, hotbox and right-click and be done with it. But instead, these Lings and Banes are going to continue to get more and more devastatingly difficult to deal with. Adrenal glands just now finishing up, and 4 Ultras about to pop out. Oh no. Oh, the wall is down. There is just no stopping this onslaught of Ling Bane Ultra. The Oops All Melee build is doing great damage here, and I love that there's a Dropper Lord in position ready to go. This one hasn't been morphed yet, but I don't know if that's even going to matter at this point. Firebird is pushing across the map, finally getting Drilling Claws for his mines, which I feel is maybe a little bit too late for the specific situation that we're in. Trying to clear off just a little bit of the creep but Firebird needs to get some major damage done. And he does hold off just long enough for those Banelings to be able to roll on in. Ultra's going to add into the fight as well, and Firebird's army is starting to fall apart here. You see that army size slowly going into his favor, and River going to be able to shut that down, put himself into a game 1 victory. GG, well played by our Zerg player. A nice start to this series here as River is able to hold down the early aggression. I mean, it was kind of a build order win more than anything, where Firebird was going for that early 16 stim timing. And if you really open up macro and you get some decent scouting on that information, you can easily have the number of queens that you need, the number of lings that you need to be able to push that back. So a good place to start for sure. Well, we're going to jump into game number 2. It's going to be on Pillars of Gold. We'll have to see if Firebird can do a better job of controlling the tempo of game number 2, or if River is going to be able to keep on the overwhelming pressure of his Oops All Melee army. And we'll find out here. Spawning in the top right, our orange Terran player playing for Platinum Heroes. This is Firebird. And spawning in the bottom left, our blue Zerg player. Teamless at this time. For now, this is River. Okay. I had a message come up over here. Ah, I see. Okay, so I asked... I was asking Sniper, like, give me all the deets. Give me all the details on the Division 1, the Destiny Star League. Now, you fine folks might be aware, like, Rashi, you're not telling us anything we don't know. I guess I'm learning a little bit more today. All these players are between Masters 2 and Diamond 1, between the ages of 13 and 18. I knew that they were high school-aged kids, but I didn't know exactly what league they are. Now we know. And knowing's half the battle. Go, Joe. You get that reference. You're too old. You're too old, just like me. So it looks like it's going to be another standard opening here. No second gas. So playing a normal standard opening here. It'll be interesting to see how our two players want to try and advance through this series. I will be honest, I will say that I don't really know these players very well. So I'm not certain if they tend to be a little cheesy. They tend to be more macro oriented. I mean, game number 1 was really not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. Pretty decent timing attacks. Some nice progression through the game. And ultimately creating some interesting content. We'll have to see if game number 2 is able to go the distance. Just much like game number 1. Good little bit of Reaper harass here. Not going to sneak away any kills just yet. The Reaper is going to spot out that third base. This one Marine going to town on these unbuildable bricks. He's done it. Give that Marine a medal. Give him a kill count at least. What? Are you kidding me? You're telling me he did all that work for no recognition? Gonna be hearing from his boss soon. Okay, Firebird gonna play it safe. Drop the bunker down at the front of the natural. It is a 1-1-1 opening. River's gonna be able to get a good scout off on this. Religiously, researching pneumatized carapace. I love it. I love it. Things that I should do more. Oh, that one didn't hit the same. What do we have at the back here? Oh, it's a fusion core. Oh, baby. Now, has River spotted that? Yes. Yep, River's seen this coming. Immediately throwing 3 more queens onto the mental checklist here. The Creeps is actually in a pretty decent spot as well. My goodness. Doing a really nice job of moving across on the creep spread. And on a map like Pillars of Gold, there is some dead space to abuse here if you are the Terran player. But for the most part, and you really want to kind of own this front section, because that's going to cut off your opponent's ability to be able to defend in multiple locations. But instead, we are just going to see a nice little opening here. These Hellions are not finding any damage quite yet. I don't even think a scan has been burned for these creep tumors. This set of creep tumors are going to be able to be picked off, which will be nice. But I don't think mandatory by any stretch of the imagination. Now, we are going to add an armory onto the back of this as well. So this is going to really ramp up the aggression, as Hellbats are going to be a really nice addition to this army, going to deal with those Zerglings very effectively. All right, Roach is also a natural response as well. I like this. I like this a lot. The layer tech is just about to finish as well. More than likely going to see more of the upgrades coming in. Yep, both Evo chambers on the way. And he's just making sure that he is in a place where he can defend against this. We now see the Hellbats being warped in. Same with the Battlecruiser. And the engagement is about to begin. What kind of situation are we looking at here? This is kind of an okay spot to be playing from. Roaches are in a nice spot to try and zone out. And even having the forward Sport Crawler, this is a great position for River to be playing from. I love this. Yeah, that's going to shove this all the way off. I mean, Firebird can't afford to push in right now. He doesn't have enough DPS to be able to shut down what's cooking here in the main main area of River. And actually no third back behind this as well. I feel like that's got to change here. He's going to throw down all this factory production. There goes the third. Spire in production here. 1-1 for Roaches. +1 missile, +1 carapace, and that Glio reconstitution. And he's just going to drone up behind this. I mean, so far, this has really been a nice situation here. He is losing a couple of queens, but he is going to lose the Battlecruiser for its trouble. So picking off the creep queens is nice and all, but by no means is that scary damage at this point. Losing that Battlecruiser really shuts down the aggression. So now creep tumors are already in high supply out on the map. Those are just going to continue to push the creep all by themselves. Big boy and big girl creep tumors doing the work. And more queens being added into the mix. A second Battlecruiser, though, is going to make this a little bit more complicated. Good transfuses. He's got to be careful, though. One of those queens going to fall. And now going to use the Battlecruiser to pick off creep tumors. Oh, this is actually scary. This is scary damage here. Roaches are going to be caught completely off to the right-hand side. This is going to be a drone barbecue. Oh, but they're kind of trapping themselves here. I don't think it matters. I think they're still going to get the damage that they're seeking. They're going to kill off the queen. They're going to basically roast an entire mineral line. And they are going to be able to jump on up into the main base. Oh, this is going to be so many drone kills. The barbecue. 18 drones in total. Did the Battlecruiser make it back home? Question. No. No, it did not. So Corruptor's able to effectively shove that off. The good news, though, is that River is in a spot where he has plenty of army. He will be able to move across the map. Roaches in high enough supply should be fine against this, especially since the Marines, well, moving off to the right-hand side of the map. They're just like, we can't be bothered with anything else that's happening in this game. We're just going to go on a mission. Okay, and this does create kind of an interesting scenario. Oh, I wish he would have kept that Corruptor Puke going for just a brief amount of time. But the Marines on their magical mission will find a bit of nirvana. Picking off a couple of queens. River slowing down the economy. What have we actually lost so far? One worker. One SCV has fallen down so far to the 23 drones of River. Now, River's in a position where he's able to quickly replenish this. I mean, missing a gas there in the main. Actually not fully saturated on gas right now. I feel like, if anything right now, he needs all the gas he can get. River gonna take a little peek at the main base. He sees another battle cruiser. I mean, this is just continued mech. This is gonna be a longer, drawn-out game. Okay, what do we have for drones here? More drones gonna go down. Oh, this is kind of rough. Once again, the whole army caught off guard. And 4 of these Hellions are gonna trade out for 8 drones. It's a great exchange. The Thors, tanks, Hellions, oh my. Another battle cruiser. 5th base actually going down in the bottom right-hand corner. Are there enough Corruptors? Technically, no. But Firebird doesn't want to risk that. How many Corruptors are we at? It's just the 4. Yeah, Firebird doesn't want to risk that. Is just going to blink that, or excuse me, he's just going to jump that battle cruiser back home. Infestation Pit already on the field, so now we are going to see that Hive Tech come up here. Wouldn't be surprised to see a transition into late game air. Brood Lords are still rather effective, especially since the number of Corruptors that are still needed will be a relevant talking point in this game. Now we are getting the Servos upgrade here out of the Tech Lab. Going to make those Thors a little bit quicker. It's going to make those Hellbats a lot quicker. Smart Servos. That's the name of the upgrade. 4 base Terran though is a scary place to get to. And those command centers are just dropping down here. More than likely going to be more planetary fortresses to help hold down choke points. Which is not a bad decision by any stretch of the imagination. Roaches are going to make this complicated, though. One of those command centers is going to go down. Going to get a pick off on this base, though. That's a huge pick here before this army is even able to get over there. He's not going to lose a single Roach for that engagement. It will allow for this command center on the left-hand side to be secured. Siege tanks just kind of chilling here. Oh, this is a bad follow-up. Oh, ow, ouch, ouchies. Oh. 15 Roaches for 2 tanks. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a bad deal. It's a bad exchange. We're gonna watch this changeling just go bleh. It's worth it. All right, so +2 vehicle weapons just now getting complete. 6th base gonna go down for River, and we are, oh man, we're just boiling this puppy up. This is this game is a pot of chili on a cold winter day. You can't rush it. You just gotta take time. You gotta boil it over 200 heat, and you just gotta let it cook all day. And that's what this game is starting to feel like here, as both players are just rotating around their tech tree. Lots of Ravagers coming out. I think Ravager is a good call against this, especially against the tanks and the Thors. The Thors are super slow and bulky. A lot of surface area to hit. And the Ravagers are going to trade out a lot more effectively compared to just Roach composition. So like this little hit squad of Roaches, I mean, it's just going to come up here and just shred, 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 and it's dead. +3 vehicle weapons already on the way. +2 vehicle armor researched as well. But it's more battle cruisers, more Thors, more of this big, heavy, bulky army. Is he even gonna get a tank first treble? No. Nada. Nada. Zilch. Zippo. Oh, baby, we got Brood Lord. And I mean, honestly, at this point, River is looking to just trade out his bulky Roach count in favor of something that's going to be a lot more easy to play with. The Vipers being added into the mix. Brood Lords already out. 5 already on the field. 3 more going to make that equation fit to 8. Okay, that's a nice bit of Biles here getting on top. A great example of why those Biles are super effective against those Thors. Yep, Planetary Fortress going to hold down these chokes. More tanks going to get pulled into the fray. This creep spread actually does need to get dealt with, and it will be. Just immediately obliterated. Yo, good morning, StarCraft Sim. Good morning, everyone, by the way. So glad that you could join us here for the Division 1 playoffs for this season of Destiny Star League. Biles are going to go down, actually not hitting anything. They found the one dead spot in this whole area. Oh, that's actually frustrating. That is actually frustrating here. But I feel as if, I mean, River's in a good position. He's got the means of getting us around on this army. He just needs to find a way to get that going. Blinding Cloud's going to get right on top of those tanks, but where's the ground army? The ground army was falling asleep at the wheel, trying to make time for those Broodlings to get some damage done, but I feel like the Broodlings could have been focused on Thors. Fortunately, though, River is going to be able to at least try and trade out. Broodlings are going to be useful, but not super effective here. A couple of battle cruisers and a couple of Thors left behind. Ugh. But it is a nice remax here. 25 Roaches, 11 Corruptors incoming on the way. Meanwhile, that 5th base is going to be populated for Firebird. And again, that 4 base Terran is just a scary force to deal with here. So what it feels like is we're just going to watch these two players just work on mining out the map. River's already got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Felt like the 10 Zerg commandments there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We ran out of this. So River's taking every base on his side of the map. Firebird does have a couple of bases here. Those are going to be a little bit more difficult for him to hold. I think Rivers, yeah, he's going to scout this and realize that this transition hasn't happened just yet. But I really don't like the Roach count here. I mean, he does need to find something different to play with. Broodlords are good. I'm wondering if... oh, yeah, Firebird's going to be able to clear that off. I'm wondering if Infestors would be added into the mix. I mean, that's the meme build, right? Broodlord Infestor. But it is... I mean, it was good for a reason, and it still is good. Now, Yamato Cannon getting added into the mix, as well as that +1 ship weapons. So these battlecruisers are going to get a little bit stronger as they go across. And this slower, bulkier army of River is kind of going to force a real uncomfortable issue here at this base over on the left-hand side. This is immediately going to get picked off. There is no saving these these workers, either 11 of them are going to go down. Oh my gosh, look at all of these. Look at all of these brutal blinding clouds. Trying to get as much work done as possible. Those corruptors desperately trying to work on the battlecruiser count, but the battlecruisers are so dang strong. Making it very difficult here to try and deal the damage that they're looking for. And all in all, 17 workers are going to go down, a base is going to go down, and it has allowed Firebird the time he needs to be able to populate this top left corner. And hopefully he saw, okay, he saw that base going down there. Oh, I feel like waiting is a mistake here. There really isn't a whole lot of anti-air to shut down the Broodlords, especially not with the Corruptors still hanging about here. But it's more Roach Ravager moving across the right-hand side of the map. Now this is where life is going to start getting a little more complicated here for our Orange Terran player. This slow, bulky army not going to be able to catch up to the Roach Ravager of his opponent. And this is going to be an orbital that goes down. This is a nice bit of damage. He should be able to escape with most of his units. In fact, he gets out with all of them intact. 21 workers killed off. What are we at for our worker kill count so far? That was actually the first amount of SCVs killed in this game for Firebird. Very interesting stuff. Meanwhile, 60 have gone down. Broodlords being used defensively. Love it. I love it. I love it. 4 more on the way as well. So trying to keep that that bare minimum double-digit count. Now, has this army rotated yet? No, it is currently in the process of doing so. This Roach Hit Squad going to try and get in once again. The worker pull to try and keep that repaired was just a little bit too slow. So this should be able to get in on top of everything, and he's not even going to go after the workers. He just wants to pick off the base at this point because he knows that he's on a timer with the army trying to scale across the map. But picking off bases on both sides of the map is a nice exchange for sure. Now the Broodlords getting repaired up back at home. Advanced ballistics being researched as well as that +2 ship weapons upgrade. The creep spread is actually starting to get dangerously close to the right-hand side once again. I think that would potentially set up Firebird for a flank on the left-hand side. Look at the banks of both of these two. River almost floating into Oprah money territory here. He well surpassed Facebook money. Okay, good cancel on that 3 o'clock base. Is going to create an issue to deal with here. How many Corruptors are there? There's only 6. That is not enough to deal with this army. He really needs something more. Oh, is he going to be able to use those Ravager Vials? Uses them on the tanks. Admittedly, probably a good choice here. Got a lot more damage done. So these players just trading blows back and forth. Okay, good Yamato cannons getting down onto those Broodlords, picking off more damage. But once again, the anti-air is just not there for River. He's got a great amount of anti-ground, but unfortunately, it's not going to matter, especially when these tanks have nothing to deal return damage on. Now, 2 of those battle cruisers will go down. More Corruptors actually getting brought into the fight, which does make this better, but Thors are going to keep this difficult to deal with. And River is just committing into that the Roach count here. But this is actually a scary number. 197 to 155. River's got the bank for sure. So this should not be an issue for him to get replenished. And in fact, that will be the case. Battlecruiser getting some damage done. Command Center's going down on the right-hand side. Going to be blocked by a hatchery, even just for a brief amount of time. I like the commitment into the slowdown here. This is not a bad engagement. Killing off a few of those tanks. Maybe going to lose a little bit too much here. Trying to pick off the command center. Going to get surrounded. Not going to be enough. All right, +3 ship weapons and +3 flyer attack incoming for both players. Once again, this just becomes a more of a rotating battle here. I mean, this is just game number 2. So it's continued mech aggression out of Firebird. He's going to shove forward. He's got so many of these Thors. The Thor count is reaching kind of that critical mass where it's just difficult to get on top of it without a whole lot of spellcasters. 10 Thors already down. That +3 on the way. Oh, well, this is kind of fun. I like the Marines getting brought in here, creating a lot of confusion for Firebird. Like, wait a minute, why do I have all this bio in my army? Wait a second. This is a much better engagement here. Battlecruisers getting caught off guard. That's going to eliminate a lot of these Thors. Once the Thors are gone, that's going to allow the Corruptors to do the work that they need to. It is going to come at the cost of the Broodlords, but I feel like this is a nice little exchange here. Now this is the engagement that River was looking for. He should be able to clean off. Oh, those looked as if they were going to blink away, but instead did not. So this was the engagement that River was looking for. Able to pick off so many of those high-cost, high-value units. Meanwhile, back behind this, more Broodlord's going to get morphed in. He's going to pick off a couple more bases. This base has not mined for a decent amount of time. So it is holding him off. I mean, what are we at? 1, 2, 3 base to a... Okay, still working that base out. 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's 3 base versus 3 base. In a head-to-head number battle, I mean, this is a much better situation for Firebird to play from. Firebird's always going to have access to mules. That does mean he is going to mine out a lot faster. So it's not an exact science. But I do think that this yields a bit of an interesting advantage here for our Terran player, especially if he's just going to get all of the drone kills for free. Excuse me? Hello? Oh my gosh, 14 workers just going down like that. I mean, that's great. That's great for Firebird. Firebird's like, yes, yes, sir. May I have some more? Give me some more of that. And gonna just put himself on board here. Oh my gosh, the number of changelings that he is bringing out here. Now the banks for both of those players are relatively strong. Liberator being brought into the mix. I actually don't mind that, especially against Broodlords. Those Liberators are going to be very, very strong. Ooh, good amount of incoming damage here. The Thors are pushed way back. Now Vikings are going to be brought into the mix. I think this is great. Oh, that's going to pull all the Corruptors forward. The Corruptors are going to be super exposed here. Those Thors have to be careful. If they don't target correctly, they're just going to die. And the Broodlords are going to be able to clean up most of the Thors, but they won't be able to clean up everything. I think that keeping the Corruptors, though, I think is the important part in this engagement. More Roaches on the way. I don't think he has yielded from his Roach production the entire day. We are nearing the 30-minute mark of this game. What a wild game in number 2. And this is just game number 2 of a best of 5. We still have at least one more game after this. Now the mineral dump's starting to happen here as the gas count for River is getting dangerously low. So now Zerglings are going to try and get some damage done. And I actually cannot imagine that they found this much damage at the 29-minute mark of the game. What a great use for minerals. What an outstanding use for minerals. And they're going to be able to jump on top of all of these tanks. The Thors are going to be exposed on the right-hand side. They had an opportunity, I think, if they would have just kept walking. But instead, Firebird is going to let those go. His mineral bank is in a great shape. His gas also just kind of on the down and out here. How much gas is actually being mined here? 2, 4, 6. Gas is gone. Gas is gone. 7. Yeah, there's no gas there either. Pretty decent amount of gas over on the right-hand side, so I think that's going to continue to be a point of contention. And if he's able to pick off this orbital command, that would be just an insane amount of damage. I am shocked. I'm shocked that there wasn't a couple of tanks just sitting here with some Hellions. But Firebird's going to lose an orbital command for it. And this is still a rather useful base. I mean, there's still a decent amount of gas. The mineral count is pretty low. These are getting a ton of value. It is allowing the gas bank of River to be able to be built up, since he is trading out minerals for minerals and gas. Always going to be a good exchange for River. Okay, River's got a little bit of gas going here. No gas remaining there, so just on the slow side. And especially for the fact that these Zerglings just have Carapace upgrade. Like, keep that in mind. He's getting a crap ton of damage done with all of these units. 21 drones do go down. That base doesn't have a whole lot left. It does have a decent amount of gas. That gas is going to be valuable. Those Vipers, though, are irreplaceable at this point with the gas production of River. So he's got to be able to play safe here. Tons of Blinding Cloud's going to get on top of this. These Ravagers need to push forward. They got to shove that advantage before these tanks come back online, and they will. But Great Vials will be able to shut that down. River holding on here with some of his high-value units. What have we lost? Look at the exchange here. It is almost dead even. And when it's dead even, that usually favors the Zerg player. So, oh, drones on their way over. They're like, wait, I'm supposed to build here. Can you hold? Please, guys, can you make some room? Okay. SCV's trying to build over here as well. Oh, actually, I love it. SCV's trying to steal a little bit of minerals on the left-hand side. Okay, that's a cute play. I'm totally fine with that. Now, I do have to say, River is on a bit of a timer here, as the gas is starting to be mined out across most of the map here. Now, just as a heads up, in a head-to-head of pure mineral units on the Zerg side versus pure mineral units on the Terran side, Terran side's got the advantage, especially since Hellions are such a great counter to Zerglings. The River is on the clock right now. He must find a way. He must find a way to end this army before it gets too dicey. Okay, all the minerals out at that location. The income is just dangerously low at this point. But I feel like, heads up, this is a much better army for Firebird. Are there Broodlords in this mix? No, there are not. There are no Broodlords. It's just Corruptors. I mean, he really needs some free units here to be able to soak up some of the damage. Now, this is a dead base, but the gas is gone. The mineral field is largely gone as well. Just one tap on that hatchery. Okay, the hatchery is going to finally fall. Gosh, I just don't like this this situation here. Yeah, production has been completely halted here for River. He does have larva. He's got 21 larva. But again, at this point, only able to really make Zerglings. These Viper Poles, while they are nice, still going to cause a whole lot of damage for River. Oh, there just is not that much to deal with the Thors on the ground. 15 more Roaches are going to consume a good majority of the remaining gas for River. I think he's down to just 2 gas mining. Oh, this is, I mean, oh, he has a third gas that just has not been touched. And it's completely safe too. That's a bit of a disappointment. How many gas mining here? 3, 4. Oh, I mean, this is rough. This is not good. Yeah, there's the 4th gas of River. If only he knew. If only he knew he had a 3rd gas. He's going to look at this replay and go, I could have had more units. The tank count and the Thor count are just too dang high at this point. Oh, he's going to lose all of those. This is a nice little surround, but unfortunately not enough DPS on the ground. So River is going to toss away all of his stuff, and GG finally called. Firebird taking game number 2 and evening up this series 1-1. Well played. A very, very entertaining match between these two, but ultimately it was a war of attrition that was taken down by our Orange Terran player. Here's what we're going to do, folks. I'm going to take just a tiny chance to rest my voice. We're going to drop a 2-minute break on the timer. Do take an opportunity, folks, if you are enjoying the games that you're seeing so far. Click this follow button here on Trovo. No Destiny Star League is working on creating more content for their Trovo channel, and clicking follow allows you to get the opportunity to see that content when it comes out. We're going to put 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, and when we return, it's going to be game number 3 of this playoffs match between River and Firebird. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back right after this. All right, folks, welcome back. We're going to jump into game number 3 here of this semifinals match between Firebird and River. Let's just jump right on in. Spawning into the bottom right of Lightshade. Our orange Terran player wrestling it back from game number 1 and ties up the series 1-1 for Platinum Heroes. This is Firebird. And spawning in the top left, our blue Zerg player. Looking to make this a little bit more of a comfy, cozy match for him. This is River. So we saw in game number 2 a Turtle Terran style getting up into that mech, which is very, very strong against Zerg. Zerg still have pretty decent options to deal with the Turtle mech of Terran. But once you start running out of gas options, I mean, it becomes a very, very difficult means of aggression. But we do have an early Roach Warren going down here, so no Ling speed at this point. This is just going to be pure Roach aggression behind these initial Lings. And honestly, I mean, did he even notice that? He must have. This is still probably going to be a factory going down. Reaper's going to stay back at home as well. But it's only going to be a few roaches here as gas has been pulled off. So it's only going to be a small amount. I was going to say, this Reaper's got to be careful, though. It can, in theory, kite these Zerglings forever. Instead, going to focus on the few instead of worrying about the many. SCV on the low ground is going to get picked off. Oh, that Reaper dangerously low here. I think it will be fine, though. 5 kills, and it's delayed this command center by a fair amount. Roaches are going to be able to come over and help out with this as well. And honestly, nothing that is going to be coming out here for Firebird is going to be helpful into this defense. It's a matter of whether or not these roaches can get up and finish off the damage. Actually, the command center is not building right now. Oh, this is great damage. This is huge. This is a huge moment here. These roaches are going to go largely uncontested. That reactor is going to be under heavy fire. Picking off the bunker there as well. I mean, that Reaper is nice and all, but not going to accomplish a whole lot. Oh, reactor. Oh, you got to get that reactor kill. Is he going to be able to pick that off? Oh, I think he absolutely will. Despite the best efforts of that Reaper grenade. More and more bunkers getting brought into the fray, but immediately getting picked off. These roaches are finding so much damage here. 6 workers gone down so far. And he really doesn't even need to engage at this point. Getting that losing that bunker, though, or getting that bunker is a great save for Firebird. Roaches should be able to just continue moving on to the backside here. And with this, I mean, he can just macro up back at home. Lair on the way. Third base on the way. River clearly does not want to go to a long game number 3, and it shows here with this quick aggression. But look at the difference. 6 Zerglings and 3 roaches picking off 15 workers. A great exchange. River's got to be feeling so confident right now. And it shows in his gameplay, just immediately macroing back up. He takes back onto his gas, picking up his second, his third gas as well. Banshee Cloak is going to be nice, but it's going to have to get a lot of damage done because just look at the supply count. 48 to 23. He has 15 workers available at his disposal. His orbital command and his natural was delayed by a significant amount. This was just all in all a very, very strong play by River. Again, Firebird has to get so much deadly damage done here if he wants to stay alive in this game number 3. One queen already having to be evacuated out of the third base location. Once it meets up with that second queen, it should be okay. This should be enough to force him back. But right now, there's no vision at that third base, so this Banshee can get some good damage done. Overseer is going to be transformed, so it should be fine. We will have an armory coming down, so I think Firebird is wanting to try and get into some of that Hellbat. Yep. I mean, this continues to spiral out of control here for Firebird. He is not getting any damage done that would slow down a River. I mean, picking off a couple of roaches with a Banshee, that's insignificant in comparison to what needs to be happening across the map. Now, this is going to be a bit more of a dedicated push here, but roaches are already a tech choice that are available for our blue Zerg player, and these roaches just going to come swinging on over. Oh yeah, especially since the tank's not there. Tank's not even going to be able to get sieged. That's immediately going to get jumped upon. Queen's now able to fight. Are now able to be able. Yikes. Brain. It's early. Still early, I guess. Nidus network. This is just going to be insult to injury at this point. Drop a Nidus there. Drop a Nidus there. Or how about just drop it right here? Just really flex on your opponent. Okay, gonna put it back out of the way. I mean, this will be dead. This will be deadly damage. This is almost a GG timing. 10 more roaches incoming. It's gonna make 23 roaches. Yeah, 23 roaches showing up in the main with the queens. That's got to be heartbreaking for Firebird here. Queen's gonna get transfuses off to make sure that they are topped and ready to go for battle. One Overseer will be able to mitigate the damage of those Banshees. This is all over but the crying. One Banshee goes down. I think with the second Banshee goes all of the hope of our Terran player. One Queen gets picked off, but not gonna be enough. Second Banshee falls. Roaches are at the natural. GG is called, and River overwhelms his opponent in this game at number 3. Not going to allow him to get to that late game tech. Well played. So now we start rounding the board here. We now have one of our players on a match point, our Zerg player, getting ready to try and advance forward into the grand finals. But Firebird's shown that he's able to hang on and make this a good series. So the question is whether or not he'll be able to take care of that, as his tournament life is on the line. To this man, pointing to the top right, our blue Zerg player, 1 win away from moving on to the grand finals. This is River. And spawning in the bottom left. On their last life in this season of the Destiny Star League Division 1, playing for Platinum Hero, our orange Terran player, this Firebird. I believe also there is a matcherino for this event. If I remember correctly, I bet there's an admin in the chat ready to go going, ooh, I can post that link. Folks, Matcherino, cannot stress the importance of Matcherino to the StarCraft 2 community. There's so many different opportunities that have been created through the partnership of Matcherino and esports. Using the coupon codes that are given to each event, so very important. So whether or not you see a Matcherino for your favorite streamer or your favorite team or your organization or wherever, please always consider clicking that Matcherino link, typing in the code. This one happens to be DSL Open 1. And you too can contribute to these prize pools for absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything more than a couple of clicks and a little bit of your time. And honestly, we're at like the minute 50-second mark of this game. What's going on here that you're gonna miss? Oh my, this orbital command came. Oh, I'm so grateful that you saw a mule coming down. Wow, good. Glad we didn't miss that. Yeah, go click that Matcherino, folks. You can do it. Don't worry, my beautiful dulcet tones will keep you informed as to everything that's happening here in this game. But Matcherino is going to keep StarCraft 2 scene alive single-handedly. So thank you to them for all the support that they bring to our scene, and thank you, everyone that clicks on that link, uses that promo code DSL Open 1. That poor drone. That poor drone. So the third base is actually going to be held off here for quite some time. Zerglings are going to be able to make their way over to the opposite side of the map. Will they be able to make it in time to disrupt this? I mean, if it goes off to the right, like right now. Nope, left, I think, protects him. I think that's going to buy him just enough time. Literally tenths of a second away. So those Zerglings not finding the damage that they're looking for. Will free up the third base, though, for River. 2 worker kills. That's not bad. But we're back into the double barracks stim pack timing. Now, River knows that this is coming, but this is a much different position. In game number 1, River was already well into the production of their third base. And this time around, there isn't going to be as much production, nor will there be as many queens to aid in this defense. But I don't know that that will matter too entirely much, for sure. Queen production is still pretty strong. Now that third base is going to be able to finish up. No new Matthias Carapace. River, you bold person, you bold Zerg player. Will confirm that, in fact, the stim pack upgrade is on the way. So now what can be done here? Baneliness is going to go down in the back of the natural. This timing should hit relatively accurately here for Firebird. But it's not going to hit as strong. Only 13 of these Marines making it across the map. Honestly, every Marine counts in the power of this attack. But he suspects that this is coming from the right-hand side. He's got great vision over here, though. He's gotta have some sort of gambit that this is not going to be a drop into the main base. Firebird gonna find a lot of decent damage here, picking off some of those overlords that have floated out just a little bit too far. Now Queen's finally getting brought into the fight. This should be enough DPS to help shut this down. Zerglings have been all cleaned up. More Zerglings actually just move commanding. No, they're move commanding right into all of those units. That's 8 Zerglings. That's a fair amount of DPS that could have been used a little bit more effectively, but I think Firebird, for the most part, is not going to find a whole lot more damage with this opening push. Command center being built at the third base location does get slowed down by a Ling run by, so good deal of damage here. And there is not a full saturation of workers in the natural. Interesting situation. Where did they get pulled to? workers. 39 workers. I guess it's just low saturation. Go get. Yeah, get that tank. Oh, great pickup. Medevac airlifted that out of trouble. In a quick amount of time. It's going to be Hydraling Bane, a slightly different approach here in a game in number 4, but I do like it. Hydraling Bane, really prevalent about a year and a half ago, maybe, especially in the Protoss matchup. But I still think it carries a lot of good weight. Of course, Raynor has made it very popular in the previous 6 months as he has played Hydraling Bane into Lurkerling Bane against Terran, which provides for some really interesting games. Okay, Overlord is going to be able to spot this drop. That should immediately be deflected. Yeah, going to float that in and go, wait, nope. But that does leave the 4th base exposed. Baneling's going to be able to get in. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, be careful. Those Banelings don't want to pop without trying to find some sort of damage. Queen's left behind in the main base, dropping some creep and shoving those medevacs up and off. Tanks and Marauders. Marine Marauder medevac tank. Nice little composition. It's a good choke wall here at the 3rd base for Firebird. But Firebird's not really finding a whole lot of damage, and he is falling behind a lot economically here, 74 to 50. We can see that income advantage slowly start to pull away into River's favor. It's not a great number by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a significant amount. It's only being wrestled back by mules at this point. And a lot of those mules are actually going to be forfeit right now as Scan's going to come down to try and deal with the creep. Lurkerden is going to be on display as well. We're going to see a little bit of Lurker, Hydra, Ling, Bane. Groove Spines being added into the mix, +1 missile. Rivers is doing a really nice job of covering all of these different attack points on his bases. Some great mini-map control, some great alternate groupings. Hydra gonna get a decent amount of damage done. And it's more and more barracks production coming out here for Firebird. Keeping it easy breezy, beautiful cover girl at this point. So the 4th base now starting to float onto site here for Firebird. Again, that 4th base Terran does make things very scary. So as we start to see that Hive Tech finishing up here, we more than likely will see Lurker Den upgrades coming into play. Are there any Lurkers on the field as of yet? No. In fact, only 5 Hydras at this point. The 4th base is going to be spotted. Zergling's going to pour on into the natural, trying to buy a little bit of time, see if he can get any damage done. Let's pick up a nice group of bio at that natural expansion. Planetary Fortress is going to start going into production. Nice little evolution chamber wall to help deflect any pesky Hellion run by. Really not any Hellions in production. The factory production is still focusing heavily on Widow Mines, but that can always easily change. The blink of an eye. Now we should start seeing more and more Hydras getting added into the mix. 24 Hydras brought into the fray. A great engagement here. Nice surround from all sides as Hydras are going to be able to engage from the right-hand side. Link swing in from the left. and the concave is going to be way too strong. One tank on the left-hand side will not be enough to shut that down, and it will be so long. Farewell. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. No, actually, those Evo chambers is going to be used to soak up energy for the Vipers. I like it. I like it. I love it. River with some very good Viper control, utilizing those blinding clouds. And it just continues to be more and more aggression here. Now, I think Lurkers are going to be able to shut this down. There just aren't enough tanks. The Liberator count is slowly starting to come up in number, but not going to find what it needs. I think a nice positioning here by these Lurkers should be able to make this an impossible situation for Firebird to effectively deal with here. River is going in for a bit of a kill here. These Lurkers do need to get into place, though, and they will finally. They managed to pick off a ton of damage here. Yeah, these bases are going to have to be evacuated. 10 workers going down. It does come at the cost of one hatchery here in the top left-hand corner. That orbital command will not belong to the world. That will get shut down. Adaptive Talons are now going to allow those to burrow that much faster. This should be pretty much cleaned up. Oh, yes, I love that. Great use of blinding clouds. Look at the supply difference here. 191 to 121. This is all but over here. River trying to push forward, getting the nice reinforcing count to secure himself his third win in this best of 5, advance himself onward to the to the grand finals rather in this season of the Destiny Star League. Rainer would be so proud right now. Oh, it's just one tank. I guess it's one tank in a planetary. That is a much different scenario. Lurkers should be able to own this out. One last gasp of air here for Firebird, as he does have a decent amount of bio, but lurker count should be strong enough, especially with the lurker range upgrade. This third base is exposed. There is just not enough bio to deal with this. Lurkers will get down here. Oh, those spines get so much damage. Well, he's actually just going to leave that third base. He just wants to push. He wants to win. He knows that Firebird doesn't have the production that he needs to be able to solve this off. River's got that 5th base already on location. 6th base on the way. Losing access to this natural would be devastating. I feel like it's already devastating. But you know, River sowing as much chaos as he probably can. GG is called. River advancing out of this semifinal match 3-1. Moves on to the grand finals. Well played. Very, very well done here. All right. That was just our first best of 5 today. Wow. Great set of games. We are going to get set up and ready to go for our next series. It is going to be Newton versus Cobblestone. A Protoss versus Zerg. I'm going to take an opportunity to jump to the bathroom. This is a good opportunity for you as well. Stand, stretch, grab a little bit of water. I'm going to put 2:30 on the clock. When we return, it'll be our second semifinals. Newton versus Cobblestone. Don't go anywhere. You guys are watching the Destiny Star League Season Division 1 playoffs. My name is Rushy. We'll be right back right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the season playoffs. Destiny Star League right here on trovo.live/Destiny Star League. My name is Rushy. I'm so glad to join you for the casting of these replays. This is a live replay cast. So I am here. Hello. I am live. I am well. I am happy to be a part of this opportunity in this cast. Hopefully you are happy to be joining us as well. But we are going to get into our second semifinals match here into the season playoffs. It's going to be between Newton and Cobblestone, another best of 5, a ZVP. And we're going to jump right on in and introduce the player in the bottom right-hand corner. Spawning in the bottom right of Death Aura, our orange Protoss player, playing for Platinum Heroes. This is Cobblestone. And spawning in the top left, our blue Zerg, also playing for Platinum Heroes. This is new. He's got a different badge here, but they have the same tag. But I know that's Platinum Heroes. Like I'm 100% sure. So we've got ourselves a nice little ZVP. I recognize a couple of these names. I mean, I say couple, there's only 2 of them there. I recognize the names of these players. So should be some interesting matches here. If I remember correctly, Cobblestone's an aggressive Protoss player, from what I remember. I could be wrong though. Of course, on Death Aura, this is a map that might lean a little bit into more standard games, at least from the onset of this series. So be interesting to see how this game shakes up between these 2 players. Right now seems to be pretty standard out of both. Getting at third base pretty much on time. 2 minutes and 30 seconds is a pretty standard timing for that. And a Twilight Council on the way for Cobblestone. Now the question always exists, where is the Protoss player going to go? Oh, that's not all. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. That's a nice little scout. Question is always, where will the Protoss player decide to go with this Twilight Council? Are they going to go for a Glaive Adept timing, a Glaive Adept all in? This actually ends up being a Blink positioning here against Zerg. Okay, I like it. I like it. Rule of 0 happening, or Rule of 1 happening actually over on a Newton side of the map. Gas being pulled right now in the interest of drone production. But this is going to be really aggressive timing here. My brain has remembered correctly. That this is going to be aggressive play out of our Protoss player. Especially since it's going to be Blink Stalkers. So this kind of becomes an interesting moment of repos for our blue Zerg player. He should recognize the fact that there are 3 Stalkers at the front of the wall, and that should be way too high of a normal number. And getting roaches is going to be kind of a rough call against the Stalkers that will trade out rather efficiently here. What do we have on the way? We have a Warp Prism and the Observer. Right direction to head for sure. So I like this. This is going to be a special kind of aggression here. We usually see this in PvP, but we're going to see that to move out across the map here. How many warp gates are we at right now? It should be 4 gates? 6 gates. 6 gates. Extra aggressive. Right, so Stalkers have been moved out, and I love how they just got ferried out past the Scouting Lings and the Scouting Overlord of his opponent. But what kind of damage is going to be able to get done here? Immediately supply blocking his opponent, which is good. But honestly, the Ravager Ling Queen count of Newton is a great scout. He's made a great choice here, limiting the amount of roaches that he has to engage on top of this. But don't be fooled. Blink Stalker's still very, very aggressive. No third base following up here, and Newton is aware of that. So right now, he just needs to hang on to the advantage that he has here at the third base. He's kicked up that Ling production, getting into his lair tech, knowing that he doesn't need to win an economic battle here right now. He just needs to hold on to what he's got and avoid taking as much damage as he possibly can. How much can this actually see? Was it able to see that? He wants to get on top of the Cybernetics core. Gonna pick away at it with Zerglings here. Trying to get a decent surround. Ling's gonna come streaming on in. Once again, these Stalkers do have Blink, so careful Blink Micro should be able to mitigate most of the damage here, especially with a Warp Prism as well. He's got extra mobility. But the third base, as it sits so far, remaining untouched. No drone production as of yet. Newton staying on Stalker production, trying to get in as far as you possibly can. But these Lings are getting a lot of tickle damage done here on this Cyber Core. Cybernetics core goes down. That does create kind of an awkward position here. Again, some good Blink Micro back and forth by Cobble. The Ling Swarm is becoming just a little bit overbearing. So he is losing some Stalkers. All in all, he's lost 8 so far, which isn't a terrible number. He's able to keep on some pretty decent pressure, all things considered. One of those queens with high energy. 2 of those queens with high energy going to get picked away. That's going to be some gnarly damage. Hydra Den already done. Lurker Den on the way out. So Newton trying to work into his transition. Again, trying to avoid those armored units to make this engagement with the Stalkers that much better. And once again, no third Nexus back at home. So for all intents and purposes, Cobblestone is all in on this aggression. Zergling's continuing to rotate around on the bottom side of the map, just checking to see where that third base potentially is going down, because again, if that third base goes down, this is a much bigger issue for Newton to try and deal with. But right now, again, just Stalker production as it sits right now. Some great Biles getting down on top of Stalkers that have already burned their Blink. A nice amount of damage here as the Stalkers stay a little bit on creep, a little bit too long. I keep waiting to see this Nexus go down back behind, but Cobblestone is just all in on this. It's 6 gate production of Stalkers being warped in over and over and over again. Good amount of damage so far. Still taking a lot of bile damage onto these Blink Stalkers. Now finally going to take his third base here. And I think Newton has a sense this is going down. Yeah, his Scouting Ling was killed at the third base. That should give him the indication that he needs at this point. Now going into Lurker production to help anchor himself down. He does have to be careful though. These Blink Stalkers will still be effective against those Lurkers. But I think Newton has done what he needs to just hold himself into this game. Oh, the Warp Prism actually takes some decent damage here. Scary moment for Cobble. Even with just a couple of Hydras out on the map, that could easily shut down all of that push aggression. Now Cobblestone will officially transition here. He does have disruptors that Robotics Bay does get produced. Lurker should help shore up the defense, at least. Oh, good surround by those Lings. Getting some decent damage. More and more Vile damage. 23 Stalkers have gone down. Quite a significant amount of units for Newton. Zerglings down at the third base location here. A nice warp in of the depth should help defend this. Oh, but right now the shield battery not helping out with the Nexus. Okay, it finally does. But is that going to be enough damage? I think Cobblestone should be able to defend that. Should be just fine. It is going to be a very weak target, though. Newton's immediately going to send the bulk of his army. I don't know. I don't like this as a decision. I think the moment that Cobblestone senses this is coming, he's just immediately going to jump on in with all of these Stalkers. Yeah, Newton decides, nope, that's not exactly what I wanted to do. I'm just going to stay back at home, prevent some lethal damage from getting into my base. +2 melee, +2 range going down. The Lurker range upgrade being researched. Well, and Newton remains economically in the lead here. No opportunity to see the income advantage graph. That's sad. Oh, one Lurker. Please tell me one Lurker shuts this down. Please, please tell me. We're going to keep an eye on that. This is beautiful. One Lurker to rule them all. One Lurker to guide them. Ooh, yeah, I was going to say that's a good positioning here for Newton trying to get on top of Cobblestone's disruptor. Taking out that disruptor would be very, very helpful, but not going to be enough. Killing at third base, though, is very bad damage for Cobblestone to try and recover from. This Lurker has 1 kill, but it has the ego of 10 kills. And it is just going to rotate over and secure the fact that this third base is not going to go down. The Ravager Ling defense here from Newton. Very, very good response against the overwhelming Stalker play of his opponent in Cobblestone. Cobblestone's done a really nice job, all things considered. Oh, that disruptor killed, I think, more of his own units than it did Zerglings. Spire, also on the way. I think these Stalkers need to try and find some lethal damage here. He's getting a little bit out of control. We can see that the mineral and the gas income is heavily in Newton's favor. I think this is just too many Lings at this point now. +2 attack on these Lings to make them super, super deadly as they just continue to pour on forward. Ravagers continuing to back them into a corner. Cobblestone is going to have to tap out. GG is called, and Newton taking a game number 1 win over his orange Protoss opponent. So, good start to this series. A lot of good back and forth action here. Cobblestone with a nice bit of aggression. Keeping it easy breezy as well. So, we'll have to see if Cobblestone is willing to continue playing to the same level of aggression here against his opponent. I know Cobblestone made a comment in the chat that he felt as if he plays more aggressive when he's playing against opponents that that he feels are better than them. So we'll have to see if that continues to be a driving force in this series between Cobblestone and Newton. So go ahead and dive on in to map number 2, starting in the top left of Lightshade. It's our blue Zerg player playing for Platinum Heroes. This is Newton. And spawning in the bottom right. Our orange Protoss. Also playing for Platinum Heroes. This is Cobblestone. It's a gateway, Lester. Slower type of warp gate. Six-gate Stalker. Interesting playstyle here in the Destiny Star League. I like how Newton's showing off the fact that he's won some automated tournaments. What a flex. Okay, Nexus before Cyber. Playing economic here in game number 2. So Cobblestone is going to try and change up the playstyle just a little bit. Yeah, right now actually keeping the wall open as it sits. Just one gateway at the very outset here. Not super worried about incoming aggression for sure. Normal amount of lings though moving across the map, so this should be an okay place to play from. I feel as if, was that, yeah, that's walled off on the bottom side here. But I mean, that Shade thinks that she's gonna hold down the whole wall. I mean, I have bad news for her. Okay, that's better. Like, dang, Adept. I don't think you're that wide. Getting a little bit late third hatchery here. It is a Stargate opening for Cobblestone. So, yep, switching up the narrative here in game number 2. Going to anchor down a nice bit of aggression. Adept actually going to leap into the main here and see that there is a fair amount of normal happening. Not a true rule of 1 here, staying on gas. So Newton's going to try and tech up a little bit quicker. 4 crawlers now being dropped down. I was actually worried that it was going to fall off of his mental radar because he forced out the panic 4 crawler from dying drone. He canceled and he's like, oh wait, good, I don't need that anymore. And then the Oracle's going to come in and go, ha! Unless. It should be easily zoned. That is an exposed cyber core. One Stalker, I don't know, is going to do enough damage, but here comes the Oracle. Second Oracle, that is. That's a lot of damage. Imagine if he would have canceled Warp Gate. That would have been devastating. So Lane's just continuing to anchor down the aggression here. Newton working on his lair tech now. Third base already up. This actually might be enough damage. He's just gonna, get right on top of that warp, on top of that cyber core. Still not quite enough damage. Not all of the lings getting brought in at the same time. Quite interesting. The warp gate already researched. Cobble doing the smart thing, dropping that cybernetics core back on the backside of his base, well out of the way of harm. We start to see more and more of the see more and more of the aggression here coming with Newton. Cobblestone taking a normal third base timing. The Warping of Adept not going to be enough here. Third Adept and the Stalker are brought over to the fight. And actually, this separation here by Newton is almost going to be enough to deal with all of the ground forces here, but instead the Zerglings are going to focus in on the probe count, picking off 2 of those workers. Not anything that's going to be major. Will buy enough time for Newton to get that 4th base out as well. Full 3 base saturation already at the 3-minute mark. Roach Warren and Hydra Den going down at the same time alongside Double Evolution Chamber. So we're going to start seeing that transition into the bulkier, sturdier Roach Hydra army. Thank goodness we got a good look at those rocks. Another Ling run by coming in here at the 3rd base location. Gonna have to get some shield batteries down if he wants to try and hold this position into place. Sentries are a bit exposed, having to burn one of the force fields. Newton is just a little bit relentless right now with his aggression. So much so to the point where it's going to force out the Templar Archives and Psystorm being researched at the same time. A really, really nice position here for Newton, as he's got some decent creep spread out in front of his 4th base. Cobblestone, though, in a nice position as well, getting that full 3 base saturation on his side of the map. 2, getting that high Templar production up. These Oracles have gotten a lot of damage done as well. Between the 2 of them, 19 kills, and this is about to well, I guess I thought it was gonna update itself, but not incredibly quite. Newton just gonna pick up more of those Roach and Hydra upgrades, getting muscular augments, picking up clear with Constitution. Psystorm just now finishing up. Getting into a Lurker Den as well. So pretty standard play out of our blue Zerg player. Also picking up that Infestation Pit, so we will see a Hive coming very, very soon. Putting in a little bit of double pressure onto Cobblestone. Newton's gonna have to eat a little bit of storms though for breakfast. He didn't check the weather forecast and forgot to bring his raincoat. A little bit of stormy weather here on the top side. Really coating the Roach and Ravager. Now, Roach and Ravager are going to withstand those storms a little bit more effectively than, say, Lings and Hydras would. But it's still not efficient to just take storm after storm by your opponent. Nice little run by on the left-hand side here by these Zealots. They will get intercepted by Hydras, and actually picking off a couple of those Hydras for the cost of their time. Not a bad trade. Of course, once again, anytime you trade out minerals for minerals and gas, it's always going to be a decent exchange for the player who's only trading out minerals. Why Ling run by there? So effective. Do they find damage for their cost? Pretty good. It's pretty good. Now this is kind of a scary army. Roach Ravager Hydra is a nice army composition, especially against some of the bulkier units of Cobblestone here. Hydra's trying to come in on the top left side, but will not find what they're looking for. You need to looking for the meaty underbelly of this High Templar army, which has at least 6-8 storms at his disposal. Groove spines being researched. We now see that the hive has been completed. Hive tech upgrade on the way. The lurker range upgrade incoming. And this is starting to look a little bit like game number 2. Maybe it's like a Destiny Star League rule. Hey guys, game number 2 has to go the distance. It's got to be a long macro game. Sorry, them's the breaks. And both the players are like, but I only know how to cannon rush. But I only know how to 12 ball. And they're like, sorry, man, I don't make the rule. I just force them. Good Ling run by here at the third base location, picking off 8 of those workers that should get cleaned up by the zealots that are there. But it's going to be a lot of damage onto the Nexus. Battery Overcharge going to try and keep it alive, but unfortunately going to be too much damage here, and Newton getting the damage that he is looking for. That is going to be a big help here as he tries to siege on the left-hand side of the map. The Lurkers continuing to get stronger and stronger. They do have Lurker range researched and upgraded. Adaptive Talons now coming in as a part of this to add more death and destruction to this army. And honestly, the positioning of these Lurkers in a great spot. I mean, the Lurkers have a pretty decent concave to engage against the army, and there's just enough on the right-hand side that putting pressure on this Nexus isn't going to be enough. So 2 bases at the cost of a Zealot run by at the 5th base location of Newton. And actually, those Zealots aren't even going to target down that hatchery. Questionable tactics here. Now, I do like the split off of the differing armies. Newton does need to be careful here. He did kill off 2 bases, but this is a very scary army of Cobblestone. And Cobblestone has the army advantage right now. Oh, I really would love those Lurkers to swing around the bottom side here. They are going to eat a giant storm for breakfast. Ling's getting brought in, but the Lings are immediately going to find the Archon. They're not going to get as much damage done, but this is great surround here by Newton, evening this out, and this should put Newton in a fantastic position. Cobblestone's just going to tap out. He cannot hang on any longer, and is going to move on to a match point scenario for our blue Zerg player. GG, well played. Good stuff. I mean, that was a spicy game here by our 2 players. We're gonna get set and ready to go for our next map. It is gonna be map number 3 on Submarine. Blue Zerg player sitting on match point, doing a nice job of keeping his opponent honest and moving in the right direction, or at least moving in a direction that Newton wants him to go. We can talk all sorts of time about controlling the flow and the pace of the game, and right now it's very obvious that Newton is doing a good job of that. So we'll have to see if on the smallest map in the pool that he can continue to make that happen. And we're going to jump on into Submarine, fighting on his last tournament life. It's our orange Protoss player playing for Platinum Heroes. This is Cobblestone. Oh baby, and spawning in the top left with the quick pool is our blue Zerg player playing for Platinum Heroes. This is Newton. And Newton is going to take a second extractor. I was gonna say no, that's gotta be an extractor trick. Cobblestone's going to be in for a bit of a surprise here, as he is going to come up, going to see, wait a minute, there's no natural. Wait, my dude, are you doing a thing? He's doing a thing. Oh my gosh, the spawning pool is just now finishing up. Is this just gonna be a quick 3-0 victory for our blue Zerg player? I mean, he's playing so aggressive, and Cobblestone's gonna go Nexus first behind this. That is bold play. Especially when you're dropping the pylon in the natural. All the gas has been pulled off here. Newton is going for a very, very quick, speed ling rush. Hey, is that a full wall? No. No, 'tis not. But a zealot in the door should be just good enough. Not enough resources though to build that second unit, but he was waiting for the opportunity to get an adept. If this cyber core goes, that's gonna be rough damage for Cobblestone. Yeah, Cobblestone's got to start dealing with this. He's gonna put a pylon in the wall to allow that zealot to do a little bit of fighting. Oh, this is gonna be so close. Oh, the cyber core goes down. That is rough. I mean, Cobblestone immediately got to build this back up, especially since the second base has already been created. There's the second cyber core is gonna finally go down. With that adept going down, there's nothing here. Oh my gosh, these lings are gonna come pouring on in. Picking off this pylon would be huge, crucial damage, as it's gonna depower everything at this position. The battery overcharge should be enough to deal with that. Yeah, these lings just really need to rotate. They need to get away from this front position here. I mean, there's a whole mineral line. He's just continuing to flood lings over and over. Now that the battery overcharge has been canceled, or not been canceled, but has been fully used, these zealots are going to try and get as much damage done as possible. Still plenty of shield battery energy that's going to be used on this pylon. Oh, nice little surround on that zealot. One zealot's going to go down. Gosh, Newton is just on the edge here. Just teetering back and forth. And, oh, adepts are going to make this very, very scary, though, because two adepts are going to for sure pop out. And two adepts might make this assault just too much for our Zerg player to handle. Oh, good surround on the top side. Shield batteries are continuing to add tons and tons of value. The production has been halted. I repeat, the production has been halted. Now Newton trying to get some damage done. Cobblestone holding on with everything he's got. These units gotten so many kills. 9 kills, 8 kills, 10 kills. So much value. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this right now. I feel like Cobblestone's in a wonderful position. He hasn't taken any economic damage up in his main. He's gotten his natural nexus already put together. I mean, this is wonderful for me. 2-base Protoss against a 2-base Zerg. Protoss players should feel very, very confident with that. Now the third base does finally go down. But at what cost, Tasteless? Oh. No game heart in game number 3. Sad. Forge is going to go down, as well as the Twilight Council. Nice Oracle transition here. Newton finally getting up to 30 drones, but Cobblestone's already advanced further forward. I think this is just going to be a really, really quick scenario here. Trying to deal with the Oracle is going to be a challenge, especially since mostly Newton's going to be zoning off those gases. The gases don't even exist. It's still just one gas at this point. The only tech that Newton has is speed links. Jumping up to lair with a lack of creep spread. Ooh. That gets to be a bit of a scary scenario here. That can spiral out of control very quickly, and it's going to be charge lots on the back side of this. Templar Archives, robotic facility. 2 more gateways being added in. This should be 4 gate. 4 gate? Yeah, 4 gate. 4 gate with a warp prism and charge lots. Might just be too difficult for Newton to try and deal with, especially since he's going into a 4th base. What a greedy Zerg player. Getting into 4 base at this point when your opponent hasn't even started up a 3rd, that's poor scouting information. That was way too overwhelming. Roaches are not going to be out in large enough numbers. That Roach Warren's still just barely complete. Archon's added into the mix. This is a very anti-Zergling army. I think this is going to be a very, very quick move across the map, especially since the bank is still there. Gonna wait for +1 before truly engaging, but that should be finishing up here any moment, and this should be a very, very difficult attack to stymie. I love Cobblestone's position here. He's in a very powerful position. Newton may have the supply lead, but again, remember, that supply lead is in drones. So if he cannot slow down this attack, he is just going to lose this game. And right now, Cobblestone's army is very anti-Queen, Roach, and Ling. More warp-ins of these Zealots. Zealots waiting for their charge to recycle. This is going to be a dead 4th base, although honestly, I wouldn't even worry about it. He's just going to take 2 Zealots and say, all right, I'm just going to deal with it there. Queens actually get caught out completely by themselves. Some great force fields will take out all of the damage there. Oh no, Newton falling asleep, losing almost all of his queens right off of the bat. That means there's going to be no transfuses available. There's going to be no extra creep available, no injects. 19 roaches are on the way, but I fear this is just going to be too much damage too quick. Oh, Newton, my dude, this was an unfortunate played position here. These roaches are going to pop out almost immediately into death's doorstep. Immediately shoot up. Imagine if all those roaches show up at the exact same time, but they didn't. Cobblestone has that +1 advantage. He still has all of his Archon relatively intact. The defender's advantage is not going to be enough here. 2 more Archons show up to the fight. 5 Archons. Newton's going to have to tap out. GG is called, and Cobblestone taking game number 3, keeping himself alive in this best-of-5 series. Well played. Good creative thinking by Cobblestone. Great defense. Putting himself in a wonderful position to hang on. So we are going to jump into game number 4. Cobblestone trying his best to hang on here. And going to have to do so once again if he wants to stay in this series. So we are jumping into Oxide. Oxide LE spawning in the top right. Trying to live out his final tournament life. Our orange Protoss player for Platinum Heroes. This is Cobblestone. And spawning in the bottom left. Our blue Zerg player. Still 1 win away from advancing on to the grand finals. Versus River. For Platinum Heroes, this is Newton. All right, so Newton deciding, ooh, I didn't like that cheese that I did in game number 2. So backing that up just a little bit so that way he does not fall apart once again. We'll have to see, though, if Cobblestone has the ability to keep himself in this series. He is going to go Nexus first once again. Keeping things easy breezy and economic. Curious how this map will fare out. I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe this is a Protoss favored map in this matchup. I'd almost love to see just a nice, well executed Glaive Adept timing here. I mean, the distance between these bases is so insanely far, difficult to connect with creep, and if you are going to take time to connect it with creep, it's going to come at the cost of your larva production, and we might just get that. Twilight Council is going to go down. Have to keep an eye and see what's going to shake out here. Third base for Newton's going to go down at a natural time as well. One Stalker should be enough to keep away the Scouting Overlord. There's that robotics facility. This feels like a Glaive Adept timing. Let's see what actually going to come out of this. What's going to come out here? I'm ready. Oh, it's going to be charge. Okay. I mean, that'll be pretty strong as well. Newton has shown that he wants to play a longer form. He wants to play a longer form Ling Bane style. So charge lot all in, that could still be really effective here. He's going to have to add on quite a few of these Stargates, though. I think that becomes a point of contention here. Now, already back onto gas, getting an evolution chamber. Possibly to get +1 melee. +1 melee. He's gonna want something else to go with it. He's gonna want Banelings. Maybe he's gonna get +1 missile. He does throw down that Roach Warren. That would make more sense, but I think Cobblestone's gonna start coming into the point where, hey, I don't need to worry about too much more of this. I just need to get the rest of my gas and start amassing units. Oh, he's got a secret. Got a secret over here. Shh, guys, don't tell. Don't tell anyone. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, this is going to be a ton of gateways here. This is going to be, what, 8 gate? Oh, yeah. 8 gate incoming, and he's got 2 Immortals. Good grief, this is gonna hit like a truck. It's gonna hit like a truck going 60 miles an hour. Because against, on the back side of this, he's getting his lair tech. He is getting some roaches, but how many roaches does he have? He's gonna have 5. That's all he's gonna have. 5 roaches against Newton, and Newton's gonna scout this, and he's not gonna think anything the wiser. He's just gonna be like, wait a minute, where is all of your stuff? So he might be panicking, thinking it's over on the edge there, but this is just gonna bulldoze him over. Okay, charge is now done. Oh, that queen's gonna be completely exposed right off the bat. Doesn't want to overcommit. I can respect that. Would not be surprised to see this continue to happen here. Sentry's going to provide some good coverage. The Overlords have now spotted. Like, wait a minute, you monster! You hanging on though. He does have a pretty decent army count, all things considered. 46 to 37 is the worker count, but right now Newton is slipping away just a little bit. Nothing to deal with these Immortals. The Immortals can get on top of that third base. More Warpins and Zealots on the back side of this. The Roaches are not going to be able to reinforce this effectively. These Queens are out of transfuse energy, and slowly but surely they're going to come under fire. And once the Queens start getting picked off, I think Cobblestone's going to be able to run away with this, especially since he's picking out the third base. Oh, this is such great damage here. And it's just more and more Zealots on the back side of this. Cobblestone's just going to shove on forward. I think he's going to be in a position where he can hold this down. No force field energy just yet, but I don't know if it matters. Queen's trying to press forward to shut down the Warp Prism, but that is going to be all she wrote. It is only Zerglings now on the field. GG is called. Cobblestone keeping himself alive, bringing himself to a game number 5. Well played. Well played by our player here. Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable, unbelievable. All right. So let's get into game number 5. Let's see the thrilling conclusion here of Newton versus Cobblestone. The winner is going to go on to face River in the grand finals. Keeping it moving forward here. And I got to flip that. That was a bit of a game. Cobblestone with the sneaky production out on the map. One of the powers of Protoss, baby. All right, let's jump into game number 5. Spawning in the top left, our blue Zerg player playing for Platinum Heroes on his final tournament life. This is Newton. Spawning in the bottom right. Clawing it back from 0-2, now evening it out. 1 game left to win. Can he do it? For Platinum Heroes, this is Cobblestone. Newton said that you made him mad. Oh no. Are you saying that you've awakened the sadness? Did you see I took 2 gases on the natural? I saw that the gases were being taken. I didn't see that you canceled them though. So good mind game. Oh, that's another mind game right here. Oh no. There's not actually a cannon rush coming. I repeat. And Newton doesn't even blink. This is one of those moments as a Protoss. Like, do you go like, oh man, I wish I had cannons. He doesn't even blink. Instead, it is just going to be Nexus Core once again. So nothing too terribly wild to start off this rubber match between these two. Of course, once again, the winner moving on to face River in the grand final. So it'll be a Zerg versus somebody. Could be a mirror matchup, Zerg versus Zerg. Could be a Zerg versus Protoss. Cobblestone's won a couple of these games off of the back of some really interesting sneaky plays, so I'll be curious to see what Cobblestone decides to do here for game number 5. Robotics facility first. This is an interesting. This is an interesting position to put himself into. Okay, third base coming down. for our wonderful opponent here. I like it. Robotics Bay coming down. This is going to be a fast disruptor drop, isn't it? The option to get that disruptor in, along with the warp prism speed, more than likely. EPM is not helpful. Oh no, Newton's gonna spot it. He's gonna get on top of this, and that is going to create so much problem here. So now he's gonna have to transition. I think he was gonna try and make this look like an Adept all-in, but instead he's gonna have to come out here with Colossi. I'm not sure if Colossi was the intended purpose of this build. It feels like he's trying to transition, again, just to throw his opponent off kilter. But Newton's got a full scout on the entire main base here. So he knows that unless the tech is buried out onto the map, which is really not realistic for anything outside of doing some proxy gateways, he's probably just fine. Queens actually get caught out on the map, but they are going to interfere with the warp prism. So both players are just going to be like, whoop. No thanks. Okay, so he is going to go into the gravitic drive, still keeping that pressure on. And there's the disruptor. Okay. Just taking a little bit of a detour, giving himself an opportunity. I think Newton could have very easily just Ling flooded if he would have felt comfortable doing that. But Newton's just trying to play things normal at this point in terms of keeping him abreast of his macro. But I like the speed warp prism play here with the Colossus. These units actually going to be able to pool over on the right-hand side. Adept's going to be able to sneak on in and getting a little bit of economic damage, only picking off a couple of workers, though. So nothing of major consequence at this point. A couple of sentries and a couple more zealots going to make this a fun little engagement over on the right-hand side. Roaches being added into the mix are going to add the appropriate amount of bulk. But once again, Cobblestone doing this on the back of just 2 bases. No transition at this point. Oh, no. Disruptor's good unit. Some good force fields dividing up the army, allowing that to Colossus to get work done. No extended thermal lance. Just to keep that in mind. And that is a full wall off as it sits right now. Oh, that digital warp prism gets picked off by the Biles. Very, very good play by Newton. Newton doing a nice job of zoning this off. It's actually putting Cobblestone in a bit of an awkward position here. There's so many Roaches and Ravagers getting on top of all of this army. And honestly, once that Colossus gets exposed here, this is kind of a rough situation. Cobblestone still only working on 2 bases here. No third base right here. Newton has a good read on the natural third base location. The Disruptor has really not gotten any kills, and the Colossus only has a handful. Back behind this, Newton is going to pick up a Spire. Cobblestone still not able to get out to his third base location. He wants to try, though. Killing out the pylon in the wall. It appears he's just going to continue to be aggressive. Oh, this is a rough situation to try and play from here if you are Cobblestone. Every second that passes here is time that you still don't have a third base. It's time that you're losing out on the economic value here. Although admittedly, he has been hanging in tight against his opponent. Oh. Nice little donation there by Cobble. Hey, Hydra Den. Hydra Roach. A standard composition. This Roach Ravager ball is just out of control, and this is actually running rampant here. 144 to 103. The lack of that third base is just insanely hurting Cobblestone right now because it's stunting his production. He does have a decent amount of army production, but it's just unfortunately not going to be enough. So Newton's going to try and find some damage here on the right side of the map. Trying to get into that main base, but once again, Cobblestone still fully walled off. He doesn't need no door. Just a full wall. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out. Except for warps and flakes and all sorts of good stuff, but, you know, that's totally fine. Lurker Den on the way. Cobblestone trying to keep that fourth base in check. The slowest Zealot run by here. Hey, still gonna get a couple of drones though. That's impressive. But, the numbers are not gonna lie. From 110 to 74. Some pretty decent force fields, but oh baby, the wall's open. Those lings haven't got a chance. Oh, can they pick off the probe? No, they cannot. That would have actually been damaging. All right, 10 minutes, 30 seconds. The third base finally goes down. Cobblestone's like, well, I guess I need it. Yeah, only got 24 workers going right now. Efficiently, at least. Hive tech on the way. Dropper Lord incoming. Lurkers are already done. Newton just continues to spiral up and down. And that fourth base now finally going on site. To add to it as well. Cobblestone wants to try and double expand here, it appears. Lurker drop, huh? I like it. I'm here for it. It's still moving across the map. We'll have to keep an eye on that. I don't think the warp prism was ever replaced, was it? Oh yeah, right there. Literally, I see it. Woo! Losing one roach. Extended Thermalands now complete. More disruptors being added into the mix. Good damage down onto the Nexus. But here comes the Lurker drop. Oh, Lurker drop needs to actually like park in place, right? Oh, there it goes. Oh no! The Lurker drop's gonna do way more damage than it needs to. Pulling Cobblestone apart mentally here. He tosses away two of those. Tossing away two of his disruptors for almost nothing. Oh, what a rough position to try and play from here. He's gonna swing back in with that Lurker drop. I think the Lurker drop play is incredibly cute. Very, very well done. Spine Crawler's going up back at home in large supply just to protect against those Zealot run-bys. Wants to be able to focus entirely on this engagement. Ravager, Hydra, a little bit of Roach sprinkled in for flavor. The Lurker's gonna get pulled in once again. Getting three of those kills. There's just no good way to get in with this army. Oh no, look at the filter. Oh Lord, yep, and as I say, he can't afford to look away from the front. 14 workers going down. Oh no, oh no, oh, Oh, quick. I think we're going to have to blur that stream out. That was dirty. That is rated for a mature audience only. So that will force Cobblestone into an all-in here. I mean, it's 3 workers to 53. Cobblestone has to win off of this engagement. I mean, he's got a scary enough army. He has the army to do it, but this is the army that he'll have. He is out of resources. He's got no money. He is broke as a joke. Broke as a bloke. Wild will continually make this difficult to engage into. That is a kind of a game-ending moment here. 130 to 70. Cobblestone has to tap out. GG is called. What a great series between these two. Well played by both of our players. But Newton will be advancing forward into the grand finals. It'll be a ZVZ. ZVZ finals. ZVZ finals. We are going to jump right into that ZVZ finals. I'm actually not even going to take a break because I am afraid. Oh, time. If I don't jump right in, I'm crunching some numbers here. Should be fine. Alrighty. Let's jump into our grand finals here. It's going to be Newton versus River, a ZVZ. Okay, River does show up as a... At least he has a clan. Wait, is Newton... Oh, wait, no, I'm dumb. What is that? I'm going to look it up really quick. SC2WBO. Wild Boar Esports, huh? I have no idea. I mean, I believe it. So, alrighty. But we should probably jump on in and check out our grand finals. It's gonna be a best of 7 between these two players spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. Our red Zerg player for Wild Boar Esports. This is River. And spawning in the top left with a rather fast pool. Our blue Zerg player for Platinum Heroes. This is Newton. I mean, feel free to correct me in the chat if I am wrong. But feels like River is in that kind of position here. Okay, very, very fast spawning pool here. Grabbing the immediate speed, but not pulling off a gas. So very, very high probability that this is also going to have banelings along with it. See what can come down, because of course we all know the craziness of ZVZ, especially on this particular map. Now he has seen the Zerglings coming across the map. Yep, there goes the Baneling nest. Newton currently running this for GDQ. Any percent ZVZ Grand Finals. He doesn't want to let his opponent get ahead. And there's no base behind this, so this is as all in as it can get right now. Now he can easily transition, but it does appear as if he is trying to withhold all of his resources for Ling and Bane production. And 4 Banelings are going to come out, and these will get spotted. Ooh, getting around the queen. Oh, that's terrible damage. Terrible damage. Are there any queens left? There is 1 queen. Oh, a full kill on the spine as well. There's nothing to zone for these Zerglings. Oh, no! Just piling on in. Oh, Newton. Newton dealing some deadly damage here. A Baneling Nest of Rivers coming down. But there's nothing to stop the onslaught. GG is called. And a quick 3-minute game here puts Newton up 1-0 series. Oh. Wowza. All right. Throwing away that first queen and leaving the front door open, completely undefended. Not where you want to be, unfortunately. So, Newton's going to jump ahead with a very, very quick 1-point advantage over his opponent. Would not be surprised to see him keep the pressure on. But we'll have to see what he decides to actually end up doing. It appears as if he might stay in that case. So spawning in the top left, our blue Zerg playing for Platinum Heroes. This is Newton. With the 13-12 once again. It's 13-12 City. I love it. Spawning in the bottom right for Wild Boar Esports. Our red Zerg. This is River. Now this is interesting. No gas here for River. We have a pretty regular gas timing for our blue Zerg player. For right now, it's just going to be Ling production out of River. Now, I think this is the build that Cyril goes into right now. It's a 12 pool, but it's a macro 12 pool. Yeah, okay, now I know you're gonna have to try and wrap your brain around that one. And I respect that. That's fine. Like, even look at the difference here. 19 to 13. And River has a worker advantage. Very interesting stuff here as we move across the map. There should be a fair number of Lings to shut this down. Newton is going to have the advantage, though. More of his Lings are going to come popping out. Second base is going to finish up just a little bit earlier. And he's going to have speed a lot faster. And it's just going to be speed. No Banelings. All of the workers have been pulled off of gas. So Newton, once again, wanting to go into a very, very aggressive game. This is looking a little bit dicey here for River. River trying to hold on to this. Losing this natural, though, would be very, very difficult to deal with. River just doesn't have enough right now. And speed has now finished up for Newton, which makes this a much better situation. But a great engagement here on the ramp. Newton's not going to get the surround that he's looking for. And River able to hold this down. He does lose the queen, which is a bummer. But one more queen's going to pop out here. River just needs to try and zone for it and create a little bit of space, and he's absolutely going to be able to make that happen. Good surround on the Lings, though, by Newton, using that speed to its full advantage, but this queen's going to get so much DPS out here. 5 kills, holding on here. Income advantage is slightly in River's favor, as well as River has been able to hold on to a slight worker lead throughout the duration of this. Now getting exactly the amount of gas that he needs to get speed. Picking off an Overlord here would be good. Oh, but he has to make sure that he doesn't lose the queen for it. Queen, it needs to be pulled back into DPS for against the fight. Against Bergen. Oh no. River, it's happening again. My dude, no! Brutal engagements here. by River, and it's just continued Zergling production out across the map. Still no gas on the gas in the main. Hatchery gonna fall as well. River in such a terrible position here. He doesn't have the production. He doesn't even have speed yet. And now he's gonna be forced to push across the map, but there's no gas. So there's a weird opportunity here for River to try and jump on top, but I think the overwhelming production is going to be the telling tale here. Blue Zerg player. He's going to move across the map once again. River just doesn't have enough, unfortunately. Great engagements here, but River can make all of the tricky micro moves that he can. But the fact of the matter is that he is going to be down 50% production over his opponent. And unless Banelings come into play, which they won't, there's no gas, I think Newton just wins this out in the end, right? Right? Am I wrong? I mean, River's got the advantage right now. Army counts are dead even. I mean, holding on to those queens is so very important. I think that thinned this out just enough. What's the unit count here? I mean, River technically has more Zerglings. Oh, that was a better exchange here for Newton. I'm so stunned at how well River is hanging on here. What a game. What a game indeed. A very, very strong back and forth. My thoughts exactly, Newton. River's like, yeah, you've got 2 bases, I have 1. Yeah, very interesting. Oh man, it's almost a ninja-like. Get your opponent to be like, wait, do you have a ninja base? What's happening? I think Newton now is going to finally start taking advantage here. Look at this army graph. I absolutely love this. The income advantage actually is in River's favor. I guess he does have more workers. This is a pretty decent engagement, all things considered, but I think Newton's going to be able to hold on. Some very clever micro tricks. River just running out of larva at this point. He's got the money. He's got the cash, but he doesn't have the larva at this point. Second base trying to come down. Oh, yeah, River's never going to get that finished, unfortunately. I think Newton's going to be able to close this one out and put himself up 2-0 in the series so far. Yeah, River's got a nice overwhelming force, though. It's so hard to tell at this point. Just when I think Newton's got enough to do it, no player is willing to commit back into gas. Yeah, there it finally goes. GG's called. Newton should be able to clean that up, take a 2-0 lead over his opponent. Well played. Well played here. We are going to get ready to hop into game number 3. This is a best of 7, so not quite on match point just yet. But Newton putting himself in a really strong position to be able to feel confident at bare minimum. But now we're going to the tallest map in the pool, Yaganata. We jump into the big tall map. Spawning in the top right. It's our blue Zerg up 2-0 in this best of 7. Play for Platinum Heroes. This is Newton. And spawning in the bottom left, our red Zerg player. For Wild Boar Esports. This is River. All right. Unsurprisingly, both players opting to do to do a little more macro oriented. Finding ourselves in a nice little mirror matchup here. As this game gets underway, folks, once again, do feel free to hit that follow button. Thanks so much for hanging out. Hope you are enjoying these games. The Division 1 Season 1 playoffs for the Destiny Star League. Really do appreciate all of you hanging out. Also, do consider checking out the Match Arena and getting in on that beautiful prize pool. Use that coupon code DSL Open 1. Thanks so much for helping support esports. In fact, I need to do that. I need to do that. Let's sign in to contribute. Here's how easy it is. I'm gonna do this live. I've logged in. DSL Open 1. 50-cent coupon code. My contribution's been added. It's just that easy. It's just that easy. Takes almost no time at all. And you too support esports 2 quarters at a time. All right, Newt's gonna get across the map here and hold down his opponent just a little bit with some pressure. The difference now, River going into his 3rd base. The Baneling nest going down almost immediately here for Newt. Oh, Scout's actually gonna be stopped from getting into the main. That's a bit of a hold here. Roach Warren gonna go down as a response for River. I like it. And it's not often that you see a 2-base wall for Banelings. Huh. It'll be interesting to see if Newton does end up deciding to go into a Roach Warren. He is putting down his 2nd and 3rd gas. Is he trying to fake it out? It's very possible here. Newton is going into his he is going into his lair. Oh, I mean, the beautiful little Ling Flood coming across here from River. But unfortunately, and I mean, unfortunately, Banelings are going to be effective there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, Newton being so careful with these Banes. I love it. I mean, really just all he needs to do is back up the Queen. If he backs up the Queen far enough, he should be able to force that Baneling out. Some great control by both of our players, though. I love the single leg feeds across the map. Okay, double evolution chamber coming down. It's gonna be a Spire. All right, okay. Muta Ling Bane. I guess 2-base Muta isn't that uncommon. I don't know why I've made that sound super exotic. Like, ooh, look at that. It's not that exciting, right? Alrighty. So the question is now going to become, how good is the scouting going to be for River? River knows that there's no 3rd base out on the map. He's got both positions locked in. So this has got to start giving him some alarm bells. I mean, seeing banelings up at the front and really no roaches present on the map at this particular point should be enough to say that this is incoming. Oh, this is going to be a nice pickoff. Both queens going to be very, very exposed here. Drones do need to get pulled into the fight. Roaches will pop out just in the last second, but 2 queens going to go down for the trouble of X number of lings. As long as that number isn't insanely high, I mean, it's always going to be a great trade. Some good stuff happening here. Mutas are now going to be hitting the map 7 on the way as it sits right now. This is some really nice damage here. They're going to get into the natural base. Double-digit kills on these drones. I mean, this is way more damage than River should be allowing roaches against the lings, especially since the mutas haven't even made it to the opposite side of the map just yet. I think they are still lying in wait. Okay, there they are on the right-hand side. Give me the first one. Thank you. All right, so how many mutas? 10? 10. Oh, excuse me. Sorry for the very loud. I mean, this is going to be almost probably a full kill on the hatchery here. Oh, where are the Zerglings? I'm surprised the Zerglings didn't come pouring on in. Yeah, there they finally are. They should be able to help deal with those queens. And once the queens are gone, oh yeah, I mean this is the dead hatchery. One more queen will be able to help create some damage. That's just gonna fall. What do we have back at home? The roaches are now streaming across the map. I think the mutas need to go back and try and deal with these. But there is no spines. I mean, spines usually are a nice little deflector, at least to create some more damage and to soak up and create time more than anything. But this might be good enough of a surround here. A decent amount of mutas. He really does need something to hold down the wall. Yeah, there go the spine crawlers. Now the spine crawlers are basically just going to be SimCity protection. Make those roaches run around as long as humanly possible. The roaches should get picked off. Newton in a great spot here. 86 to 61. That income advantage should jump sharply in his favor. And look at that. He plummets. Meanwhile, Newton creates. And he's going to be able to hold those down. The spine crawlers are a good investment. That third base already in position and where it needs to be. What a wonderful spot that these mutas have found themselves in. That Hydroden getting dangerously low here. Some good transfuses trying to keep that alive, but I think that is going to be a continued target here. River cannot afford to walk away from that. More queens going to get picked off as well, getting on top of the queens with the highest energy. More queens getting picked off. How many total killed? 11. 11 queens. That is so much larva. That is so much creep. There's just so much damage in general. And it's going to be just continued damage. River here doesn't have a third base location. Yeah, Newton's going to get on top of that Hydroden once again. That Hydroden will fall. There's not enough protection to protect that. The queen count is rather high. But this is exactly what you do as a... This is exactly what you do as a Mutaling Bane player. Is you let that Hydra count get so high because River can't afford to build any roaches, and then you just build a ton of Banelings and you're just gonna go crashing on in. I love this. Centrifugal hooks now completed. Oh yeah, this is moving across the map. This is not good for River. I mean, you would think that this on paper is gonna do some really good stuff. But these Banelings, oh, these Banelings gonna connect with these Hydras and make this just dirty. All right, get your poncho on, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now in the splash zone. Here it comes. Oh, yeah, the Baneling. There's nothing to stop him. There's just nothing to stop him. The great micro control on top of all of those Hydras. The Mutas will now come in and clean everything up. GG is called. And Newton finding himself on match point already. Is he just going to walk through this group or walk through the the grand finals? Wow. Gotta pick our words better, Rushy. Is he just going to walk through this group and make this an easy 4-0 sweep? I have to find out as we jump into game number 4, what could be the final game of the series. Very, very well played so far by both of our players, but Newton exercising his distinct positional advantage in this particular game. So well played so far. Let's go ahead and check out and see what happens here. If this is our final match, or if our red Zerg player can hold on and give himself more chances to keep playing against this opponent spawning in the bottom, top left of Romanticide. It's our blue Zerg player for Platinum Heroes. On match point, this is Newton. Spawning in the bottom right. On his final tournament life for Wild Boar Esports, our red Zerg player, this is River. Well, I mean, we're looking at two players that have pretty decent positioning here so far at this point in the game. I mean, we're not seeing any crazy shenanigans. We're not seeing anything that's major coming up here in this series so far as a whole. But no crazy rushes here on Romanticide. As we are going to see how things unfold in game number 4. Newton is on the verge of winning, up 3-0. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just play a little bit more standard and not going to play risky, not going to go outside of my means, just going to keep it easy breezy in a nice spot to give himself what he needs to be successful. So it's going to be up to River to see what kind of crazy, unique tactics he is going to boil up here to give himself that final competitive edge in this series. He's got to turn around and win 4 games in a row. And right now, Newton is on the verge of just playing this as safe as he possibly can here, pulling out a Baneling nest right away. Now, the Zergling is going to be able to scout that, so River knows that this is going to be incoming. I mean, this is exactly what it looked like here in game number 3. Newton deciding to go into the... that Mutaling Bane. And he is kind of following the same path once again. Newton not picking up that third base. River going to get out to a third base at what we'll call a normal timing. And it is just going to be a stream across the map here. So both players kind of flip-flop in their roles. Last game, River was the one that put on a ton of pressure. And now it's going to be Newton streaming across the map. But what does River have back at home? He does have Banelings. This time around, Banelings are being morphed in as we speak for both players. But that is so many Zerglings. How many Zerglings? 27! 27 Zerglings. Now that can be mitigated by some insane Baneling hits. We're going to have to watch and see how things shape up here. So far, really good job here. 10 Zerglings getting taken down by these Banelings. And now we are looking at an even worker count here. Oh, those Banelings of Newton getting very, very dangerously low, taking one of those Baneling shots. One Queen does go down for River. Starting to look pretty good for Newton as he's able to zone his opponent back and away. Getting a second Queen kill would just be devastating here for our red Zerg. He's gonna walk away from it. Wait, why? Oh, Newton smells blood. He just wants to get into the main base, and 6 of those drones are going to immediately get picked off. Oh my gosh, look at the Zergling production, though. 28 Zerglings for River. There's absolutely nothing out for Newton. Newton has got to find a way to hold this down because he just doesn't have any production. He's gone exclusively into his tech upgrades. He's grabbing a third base. He's grabbing his lair tech. He's made a wall back at home, and he's going to try and force out 2 of these Banelings. But that's not a wall on the bottom side. Oh, no. The third base is going to be completely exposed. This is not going to be what he's looking for. Yeah, he can't afford those spines anymore. It just doesn't matter since his wall is not a complete wall, and this base going down does put him in a bit of a rough position. The 2 Banelings could take out that entire Baneling force. Once again, okay. Banes for Banes is okay, but not when your reinforcing units are just pale compared to your opponent. I was gonna say, River has forgotten that this is not a wall. Why would you attack that Queen? Just playing it safe more than anything. Okay, 1 Queen does go down. It is a Spire on the way. No 4th gas, though, so this is not going to be as effective here for Newton. Newton is missing out on a lot of his gas bank. Meanwhile, behind this is just continued Ling production, and Lings are going to be a good response to this against the Mutas. Basically pitting his opponent back at home. He needs to make sure that he always has Ling Bane, or else he'll just immediately lose all of his economy. Getting up to 4 gas himself. He's going to pick up his own Spire. I don't necessarily hate them. I think the gambit just becomes whether or not River can balance out the added production. Oh gosh. Of his third base versus his opponent. That one Baneling, oh, it's so dangerously close here, but now the Banelings of River will be able to help zone that out. These units making it so dangerously close here. Gosh, running a razor's edge. Now the Mutas of Newton are going to show up. River's going to buy himself a little bit of time here. His Spire isn't quite done. He's not going to have enough gas to really benefit from the production advantage against his opponent, especially when the Mutalisk of Newton spending a lot of their time focusing down the Baneling of River. So now 4, probably 5 Mutas. We're going to pick up that 5th Muta. How many Mutas? 6. That gets to be kind of a rough situation. The River's just going to move across the map and force the issue back at home. This is exactly what Newton needed to be afraid of, and he didn't respect this at all. So now the Zerglings are going to get on top of all of this gas production, start picking off drones. Drones going down desperately. These Mutas still focusing on a hatchery, and I feel like their efforts could be better suited elsewhere, but really Newton feels like I don't have a whole lot else to attack, but back at home, he's losing Queens that have tons of energy, losing injects, losing creep spread. The Muta count of River slowly climbing up here, 6 to 8, and now I think there is a possibility that these Mutas are going to be split apart. Can he win a war of attrition over on his side of the map? I think he absolutely can. 5 to 4. That Muta count still is in slight favor of Newton. Now the second base did finally go down. The damage that Newton needed is present, but look at the difference here. 35 to 27 workers. Oh, these Mutas are gonna miss the Lings. Lings are gonna be able to cancel this third base. Lings are going to try and cancel over on River side of the map as well. Oh, this is just gut punch after gut punch. But I have a feeling that the unit count for River is going to slowly take over here. Ling run by is happening in both bases, but unfortunately Rivers is just going to be that much more deadly. Double-digit losses on both accounts. Muta's going to swing on into the natural. Where are the Mutas? Where are they? Did the Mutas just go across the map? But where? Where did the Mutas go? There's 10. Okay, now they're chasing. Okay. I was like, where did they go? I think River hangs on here. Newton, unfortunately, just doesn't have as many. And now the Mutas are going to meet in the middle of the map. River has way too many, and he is going to have much better positioning. River on the verge of giving himself an extra life here in this game. He is going to be able to hold on. GG is called. River holding himself in 3-1 position. Good play by River. Very, very well anchored down here. We're going to jump into game number 5. Newton still on match point, but River has started the reverse sweep. He needs only to win 3 more games to put himself in the position that he needs to walk away. Death Aura could be a difficult map to try and do that on, admittedly. It could be a tough task for our player, but we will go ahead and introduce him because it is entirely possible. Spawning in the bottom right, our red Zerg player playing for Wild Boar Esports. Needs 3 more wins in a row. He wants to become today's grand champion. This is River. Spawning in the top left on match point, our blue Zerg player playing for Platinum Heroes. This is Newton. Okay. Potentially, once again, folks, our final potential game here. So do feel free to check out that Matcherino here as both players' hatcheries continue to morph and create themselves. This is a great opportunity. I'm doing a little bit of that myself. Trying to build a little bit of the situation here. Okay, we've done it. We've done everything that we needed to do here. A great grand finals here so far. Both players playing very, very well, even for a ZVZ, right, chat? We're not gonna get bent out of shape as ZVZ final Resident Sleeper. Nah, we stay in those ZVZ finals. Those are kind of a treat anymore, because usually that means, all right, Cyril gets to play Raynor, yes. We've been kind of in a good position lately, seeing at least Darren been doing very, very well. I feel like we've seen more Protoss make it to the playoffs as of late, so they're in a better position. I know Protoss are still looking for their extended wins here. Okay, River gonna go out to that third base once again. Newton gonna stay on 2 base. Very possible that we might see that 2 base Muta coming in. Roach Warren gonna go down at the front of the wall though. So it's only tech buildings at the wall. Baneling Nest and Roach Warren. A little bit difficult to determine right now what's going to be on the way. Lair is going to be coming out, as well as the second, third cast. But River is going to be the one to get extra aggressive. Once again, this is not going to be an overwhelming force. Only 15 lings this time around. So not a complete all-in moment. Banelings are going to be able to help cover. So I don't believe this queen is going to be in any major threat. Queen's just going to take a step back and say, "Get him, boys!" Banelings waddle, waddle, waddle. Nothing happen off that. All right, +1 missile coming down. No Roach Warren just yet for River, but River wants to be ready when it all starts coming to fruition. We've got another 2-base Muta build. All right, Lair is up for River. We are going to see an Overseer go on in, so more than likely this Spire is going to get scouted. Okay, 4 gas coming down. Where's the Roach Warren? Hello? Has River forgotten to make the Roach Warren? No, there's no way. He's got to be waiting for the scout, right? Like that's got to be the choice that he's made here. But he's getting +1 missile. I'm so confused right now. Hey, legs are gonna get a lot of good damage here. Killing off this Spore Crawler could be pesky damage for River to try and deal with. Losing these queens, though, is going to be even worse, and he is absolutely going to lose all 3 of those. And the Baneling comes swarming on in. Now, picking up the Spore Crawler is the least efficient choice there. Now, the Evolution Chamber getting +1 missile will be useful for the queen. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know if that's necessarily the right choice here. Meanwhile, it's going to be +1 melee on the backside here. Infestation Pit. Oh, please tell me we're going to get some Swarm Host. Please tell me we're going to get Swarm Host Nidus. I would treasure the opportunity. That seems bad, though. Seems bad with Mutas out on the map. River, it feels like River just isn't sure what he wants to go into at this point. Oh, is he gonna be able to clean that? Okay, Spire on the way. +1 Flyer Carapace incoming as well. That's going to be useful in those head-to-head fights. So that's a big choice for Zerg players to try to determine if they go into the Muta battles. How do you take care of the upgrades? I believe, heads up, that the Carapace upgrade offers a lot more value to oh, corruption. Oh, I love it. I love it. That's a great call. River delaying that upgrade. I was like, why is that upgrade not moving? It's like, hello? You like tap it a little bit. There we go. I believe that Carapace upgrade offers a lot more value over time because of the nature of the bouncing glaives. You can see how the glaives hit one target and then they bounce to another target for a reduced damage cost. Well, that Carapace upgrade in a head-to-head Muta battle is going to protect themselves from more incoming damage compared to the +1 attack. Alright, so centrifugal hooks on the way. Now that Flyer Carapace is going to be allowed to finish up. 2 packs of Lings passing each other into the night. What's the muta count at? 14-9, so Newton's in a better position right now. Does want to pick off that gas. Eliminating some of the gas production will be helpful here. Afford to fight that right now. Mutiling Bane is a very, very good spot here. River trying to get himself back into this game just by pure economic advantage. He's had that third base for a little bit longer. He's unfortunately going to lose that base though. So rough situation here for our blue Zerg player. Needs to try and zone a little bit with these Lings to force those mutas back, because Newton was actually in a rough spot, wasn't able to engage as effectively. And the +2 attack on those Zerglings causing a lot of issues here. Oh, if he's able to cancel this base, that's a great pick. That's a full kill. What great damage here. Muta v Muta, where is the count here? It's more mutas for River. But right now, River's not trading as efficiently because there's way more targets for River to bounce to. So those mutas absorbing a little bit of the damage here. Doing a nice job. Overall, how many mutas lost on both sides? 13-10. So Newton's still down on the loss side. It's a matter of seeing what kind of damage can get done. Now River's going to try and double expand here. Lings and Bane's going to aggress on the left-hand side. These Zerglings need... Oh, those Zerglings need to attack. Yeah. They must attack. Those Banelings going to try and find a mineral line here, and they will be able to make it in. 15 workers going down. Zerglings could now just turn into those... now just turn on into the workers, but killing another hatchery. That is 3 hatcheries dead so far. That's a lot of economic damage dealt. +1 flyer attack being researched as well. This is a great position for Newton, who is wanting to continue controlling the tempo of this game. And both players going to find their mutas on the opposite side of the map. What is the muta count right now? It is dead even, 20-20. And both players are going to try and deal as much damage to each other as they possibly can. Killing off yet another base. That's a 4th hatchery that's gone down. That is way too much damage. Okay, both players still dead even on upgrades now as a flyer attack upgrade finishes up for River. Flappy Boys are going to try and get some more damage done here on the right-hand side, but it's a bit of a back and forth here between these 2 players. Trying to deal as much damage as possible. You always have to pull up the units tab when we see these mutas engage here. 28-23. The advantage is in River's favor, but he's got to have all of those mutas there, and he's got a few trailing in from the backside. Newton's advantage right now is still able to kick in. 131-121. He's losing a lot of these overlords as well. How many overlords have been picked off here? Only 5. But still, 5 is a lot considering it's supply blocking his opponent. Right, Mutaflock's gonna come on in. 32 to 25 is a big advantage here for River. River's gonna jump on top of that fourth base. There's no saving it. Newton's just better off throwing that away. Saying, all right, you got me. I'll just go ahead and rebuild it. The third base is barely mining for our red Zerg player. But it's not efficient mining happening for Newton either, so that's not a death sentence by any stretch of the imagination. Viper's coming in. Vipers will make things a little bit spicy and interesting here. A couple of very good parasitic bombs could easily shut down this force of mutas. This flock of mutas. Oh, come on. Yep. Yeah, more Banelings getting picked off. Newton's finding it very, very difficult to get across the map. Fourth base coming under fire once again. That is going to be denied, at least for now. I kind of thought that changeling might be way enough. Where are the Vipers? Did the Vipers get picked off? Oh, no. Okay, they're tailing along. They're tailing along. Look at that unit count. 41 to 31. This is a scary position here. Newton's got to be careful. Oh, one parasitic bomb. One stinking parasitic bomb shuts down this whole thing. This is terrifying. Oh, this is terrifying. This is terrifying. Queens with full energy. Look at those queens, man. This fourth base is going to be canceled once again. Oh, the meter count is just so high. +2 flyer attack though for River. That could make for an interesting position here. River's not only going to have the muta advantage, but he's also going to have the upgrade advantage as well. Oh yeah, he wants to get on top of those mutas. Where are the Vipers? Vipers right there. All right, here he comes. Here it comes. Parasitic bomb gonna get on top of a giant chunk of those mutas blocks. Oh, he's having such a difficult time getting rid of them. Look at all of those all of those parasitic bombs getting on top of everything. Oh, it just obliterated the army suddenly. What was a 10 muta advantage melts to nothing. GG is called. What a way to end the game. What a way to fall apart. Oh my lord. The dirtiest parasitic bombs ends River's run in this grand finals. Newton taking the 4-1 victory over his opponent. Well played by all of our players. Whew. That's going to do it for our grand finals. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and watching. Really do appreciate you joining me today right here on trovo.live/Destiny Star League. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to cast these D1 playoff games. I believe there is a third place match that will be broadcast at a different time. Firebird versus Cobblestone. That would be that TVP, but won't be able to get to that today. Hopefully you'll be able to catch us again next time for more of those awesome games. Thanks so much for having me. My name is Rushy. You guys can follow me at Twitch or Twitter. Follow Rushy SC. I am a Master 3 Zerg player. I cast a lot for Alpha X, and actually will be casting the Group B of the Alpha X Junior Championships that'll be taking place in about 13 minutes. So very excited to shift over to that. So folks, if you do want to catch me there, you can always find that twitch.tv/RushySC. Also, again, twitter.com/RushySC. But thanks so much, everyone, for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Take care.